Today, we're going to be talking about how we meal plan for the entire week, which saves us time and money. Hey guys, it's Joseph
and Tasha with One Big Happy Life, and we make videos about how to find balance, build wealth, and live happy. So if you are all about creating a life that you love on your own terms, then be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we make videos just for you.
So today we're going to be going over the process of meal planning for an entire week, which we do just about every single week, and it's one of the ways that we survive really busy weeks.
And we know, if you have been a long time watcher of the channel, you most likely have asked us where are all the meal prep videos. And so our goal is to do one of those hopefully once a month, so stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, we'll drop a link down below to our meal prep playlist so you can see what that process looks like in action.
So the first step to meal planning is figuring out how much food you need to make for your particular family. Everybody's a little bit different depending on how much you eat, how many people are in your family, and whatnot. So you also need to decide how often you want to cook. So you can meal plan an entire month and just try to knock it all out one weekend and then have a whole bunch of frozen meals, or you can do what we do, which is cook every single week.
And you also, as you're meal planning, you're going to want to think about how often are you comfortable repeating meals in a single week. Now, one of the things that we hear most often is people say that their spouse or their kids would never go for eating the same thing more than once during the week. Now, we do want to challenge that a little bit and encourage you to challenge your family on that too, because chances are your family has some kind of favorite meal at some restaurant outside of your house. And if you told them that you were going to eat at that restaurant 3 times in the week, they would go there and they would order the same thing every single time and not have a problem with it because it is their favorite restaurant and they really enjoy that meal. So your goal then, your family is willing to repeat. Your goal is to find recipes that your family loves and that you can make at home.
And this can take quite a while. We are still figuring out and finding new things, and that's why we frequently have a couple of staples and then trying something new here or there to work in something that we enjoy that much. A typical week for us looks like this. We focus on the weekdays and not so much on the weekends because we have a little bit more time. So starting with breakfasts, we need 20 servings of a breakfast to feed all 4 of us for 5 days. For lunches, we're a little bit different. Tasha and I take 2 smaller servings for lunch, and then Alexis just has 1, so we need 25 adult servings of lunch, and then Reeves eats a smaller special kid lunch. He needs 5 servings. For dinners, we all pretty much eat the same things.
So for dinners, we are focusing on 5 nights. So that would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so we need 20 servings there. Then Friday, we will typically do a pizza night, and that will make 2 pizzas. We make them at home from scratch, which we will then also have for lunch on Saturday at lunch. Then Saturday night, we'll usually make some new thing that we decide that we want to make on the fly.
And we also have snacks for every single day. We like to have 2 or 3 options for everybody just so there is plenty of food and we're not tempted to then go out or grab a snack while we're shopping or something like that.
Now, the reason why we say to look at serving sizes is because when you're cooking and buying in bulk, it's a lot easier to say, well, I know I need 20 servings of meat if you're a meat eater and you know that 1 serving is 4 ounces, so then you can multiply 4 by 20 and you get 80 ounces, so you know exactly how much meat you need to buy. Similarly, when it comes to rice, if you're having rice on the side and you know that a serving is a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup, you can multiply that by the number of servings so that you can cook in bulk.
Okay, so how many different recipes are we making in a week? Well, we can just do 1 for breakfast and everybody's cool with that. And then we need 3 or 4 main dishes that are pretty interchangeable for us between lunch and dinners. And then Reeves needs his own lunches.
And we usually make 2 lunch varieties for Reeves so that he has a different thing kind of every other day.
And then, of course, we need 2 to 3 snack options. And so these can be pretty simple. and not take any time for prep at all.
So if you're thinking about that in terms of the month, well, at one breakfast a week, you only need 4 breakfast ideas to get through a whole month. Similarly, if you're interchanging your dinners and lunches and only making 4 a week, then that's 16 recipes for a month. And then kid recipes, 10 recipes, and you'll have your whole month meal planned in advance. Then all you have to do is shop and cook.
Now, the real key to making this all work is, of course, finding those recipes that you love to eat so much that you don't mind seeing them repeated fairly often.
Or you could just have a massive repertoire, right? But it's going to take you a while to find that. So what we recommend that you do is you start with however many recipes you want to make in a week, whether it's like 3 or 7, like if you really absolutely refuse to eat the same thing more than once. And so you start with that, and then each week you add in 1 or 2 new recipes to see if you like it. And if you like it, then you add it to your recipe box, and eventually you'll have enough faves that you're constantly switching them out, even though you're eating them 3 or 4 times a week. You're only eating them once every 3 or 4 months.
Step number 2, and this is where you start to save some money. Take a look at what is it currently in your pantry when you're starting your meal planning, because you want to find out what's about to expire. We Americans throw away and waste a ton of food, and a lot of it can be helped by just doing better planning. So before we go to the grocery store or make a menu, we scout out the pantry, the refrigerator, and the freezer to figure out what we already have, so we're not wasting anything.
Step 3, you're going to want to pick your recipes. So you should ideally have a recipe book so that you're not starting from scratch every single time. And there are a couple ways that you can do this. Obviously, there's the tried and true, like print out your recipe on a little index card and put it in a little box kind of thing. But I actually like to keep a digital recipe file, and I use Microsoft OneNote for that. But I also gather recipes that look interesting to me using Pinterest. I have like a recipes I want to try, or like a meal planning board that I will pin things to, so when I'm looking for new things that I want to try, I'll skim through there to see what I find. And I'll always keep in mind what's in the pantry and or what is on sale at the grocery store that week, so that I can make meals that have some of the same basic ingredients but use them and combine them in different ways so that we have like different flavor profiles.
When I'm doing meal prep, I tend to bookmark new recipes, and if the family likes it, I keep it for later. If they don't like it, I delete that bookmark and hope I never come across it again. Another thing that I look for is recipes that are very freezer friendly, because if you're making a big batch, you don't know that everything's going to sit in the refrigerator alone for 7 days, or if you're making a bigger batch, then it's definitely going to be longer than that. You want stuff that can be thrown in the freezer so you know it's fresh when you get to it on day 8 and 9.
And yes, there are plenty of recipes out there that freeze and reheat really, really well.
One more thing to think about whenever you're planning your recipes is the method of cooking each of them, because the more things that you can have going at once, the faster your meal prep will be. So think about how many different options you have. You might have a grill, your stove, your oven, a pressure cooker or an instant pot, if that's how you know it, and a slow cooker. You can pick recipes that use each one of those to maximize your efficiency. Like, put something in the slow cooker and let that go all day. And then while that's going, you can make other things. It saves so much time.
Step 4, make your grocery list. So you're going to want to check all of the ingredients on all of your recipes, because your goal is to go to the grocery store once for the entire week, because the more times you go to the grocery store, the more tempted you will be to spend money. So you're gonna look at all those ingredients, make your recipe list, make sure that you include quantities by calculating them based on the number of servings that you're gonna be making. You make your list, and then you head to the grocery store.
Step 5, you need to plan when you are going to go shopping and when you're going to get all that awesome cooking done, because that is key to being able to meal prep. I like to go on Saturday mornings shopping because I try to avoid the crowds a little bit, and then I can also do that actual cooking that afternoon. Another thing that really works for me is running by the grocery store after work on a Friday when I'm excited about the weekend, and there aren't many people shopping then either. And then I can do my actual cooking on Saturday or Sunday when I have time.
Yeah, our preference is to try to get the cooking done on Saturday because we do freeze most of our food. So freshness is not an issue. And then that way we have Sunday to basically relax all day or, shoot YouTube videos before we start work again on Monday.
Step number 6, it's time to actually execute your meal prep. So the more efficient you are with the actual cooking, the better this whole experience will be and the more fun you'll have doing it. So that might be things like cutting up all of your produce for all your different recipes at the same time. Just kind of, conveyor belt, get it all done. Same thing with getting your meats prepped. Then you want to start with the recipe that takes the longest to cook and go ahead and get that one cooking first.
Another way that you can maximize efficiency is by cooking things together that are cooked at the same temperature in the oven. So if you need to roast some potatoes and they happen to be roasting at the same temperature as some chicken, just stick those in there at the same time, 2 birds, 1 stone. Then once you have everything prepped, you dole them out into individual serving containers because then in the mornings, everyone can just grab and go, which if you've watched any of our morning routines, you'll see that we will just grab our lunches pre-prepped right out of the refrigerator, stick it in our bags and walk out of the house. And it makes for such a stress-free morning.
Now, if some of your recipes include very perishable things like salads or maybe some eggs, you might have to plan another day midweek because, fresh lettuce and stuff might not last the entire week depending on where you're getting it from and kind of what it is.
So step 7 is to enjoy your stress-free weekdays. Meal prepping on the weekends just takes so much pressure off of busy weekdays when kids are coming home and they need help with their homework and you're tired from work. So we highly recommend that you give it a try. And again, if you need some motivation, our meal prep videos are down below. And then we also have some meal plans over on onebighappylife.com that you can check out. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.